Hello, everybody. Welcome to, is it Yoga Shorts season three? Maybe. Welcome back. Haven't filmed in a while. Today, we're going to get into a quick little hip mobility sequence. You'll grab two blocks, a blanket if you have it. If you don't have blocks, grab books, grab anything. You might not even need them. And then we're going to start in a comfortable seat. So you can either sit cross-legged on a blanket, you can sit cross-legged on your block, or you can sit in Virasana on your block. I've been really liking Virasana with the block a little bit higher, just because it gives me a little bit more space from the fold to my hips, to my knees, to my ankles. So I really feel like I'm going on a downhill slope, which is a lot easier than going uphill. So once you choose how you're going to sit, your hands can come face down on your thighs. Your eyes can gently come to a close and then begin to settle. So begin to let go of whatever was happening before, whatever is going to happen afterwards. It'll be a quick little efficient class. We want to get moving. We want to find some restorative moments in our bodies here. But it all starts with settling down. So notice how you're sitting on your seat. Begin to bring a few little forwards, rocking back and forward. A few little rolls in the pelvis, as if you're doing mini cats and cows. And notice what it's like to move forward when the chest goes forward, and notice what it's like when the chest comes back. Initiating the movement from the pelvis so that you feel like your pelvis is rocking forward and back. Leaning a little bit more forward into our potential, into what's to come, and then leaning a little bit into our past, into what happened. And then begin to take some circles to the right. So now it's like we're circling on a clock face, or we're circling around a bowl or stirring something up. You're going to the right. Notice how this feels on your hips. Maybe there's a few little snap, crackles, and pops that are happening. That's what's happening in my hips. And then circle in the other direction. And you can go as slow or as fast as you want here. If you notice that at some point it feels good to pause in the back left corner or the front left corner, go for it. Take a pause. Beginning to do what I like to call the spring cleaning of the body as we're getting into our hips. So many of my teachers call yoga the spring cleaning of the body. It's great. I can't take credit for that. But we come to our mat to get into all the nooks and crannies of our joints, our bones, and our muscles, our tendons, our ligaments, so that we can see what's going on there, notice it, and then move on. Stop the circles, come back to center, go forward and back one more time. Noticing how it feels to do it a second time. Doing things more than once gives you the opportunity to learn a little bit more about how it feels, how you feel. We like going from being a beginner to an expert in all of our yoga poses. Take one more rock forward and back. Come to center. Take one last moment. Eyes are still closed. And just imagine that you're being held in one of those salt floating tanks where you're in the middle and you have equal weight pushing and pulling you from above, below, front, back, right, and left. So it's like you're being held in all of these different directions and you're in the middle. You can imagine that there's a thread coming from the ceiling or whatever is above you down to the middle of the crown of the head. It goes down to the middle of your body through your perineum into the floor. So you're being held up, feeling the equal push and pull in all six of these directions. Noticing one more time what it's like to sit here before we start moving. On your next inhale, you'll gently flutter the eyes open. Whatever you were sitting on, you'll move it off to the side. You can bring the blocks to the two sides of your mat because we'll use them. And then you'll find yourself in an all fours position. So hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. You're in this rectangle. And then once again, begin to find that pelvic tilt with your hips. So you're going to bring the hips back and then you're going to tuck the hips under. And we're coming into our cats and cows. Inhaling as you arch, exhaling as you round, doing something in a different orientation, switching up our perspective. And then see if, since we've done this before, now it's the third time we're moving like this, can you move a little bit faster? Can you speed it up? Can you really begin to bring some heat into it? Really following the inhales and exhales as you go. So if you feel like you want to still go slow, go slow. Just make sure that you're matching your inhale and exhale to each movement. And keep going. If you tried going slow and you didn't really like it, go fast. Giving you the option to choose your speed, to choose how fast you want to breathe, so that you're in control of how you're going to move today. Keep going. We'll stay here for a little bit longer. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. It's okay if your hair is all messy, and then flip your hands around 180 degrees. So the hands stay underneath the shoulders. The wrists are now flipped towards the front. Your fingers are facing towards your knees. If this is too much, just flip your fingers out to the right and left, and then begin to take circles on your hips. So we already did this one too. So we're circling to the right, or whichever way it felt good to go first. Saying rights and lefts are just options. We'll do both sides. So if you want to do the opposite of what I'm saying, go for it. You're at home, you're in your house, you can move things around, you can switch it up. Good, and then circle to the left. So we like to go in both directions to give our bodies a sense of symmetry, circling things around. Once again, starting to clean out the body so that we can create space in our joints so that we have more mobility for the rest of our days. You can always get the head involved here in these circles. Take one more. Coming back to center, you'll flip the hands back around the normal way. That right knee is going to come a little bit closer to the center of your mats, and it's like you have a triangle from your right knee to your left hand to your right hand. And then you're going to tuck that left knee back behind it. The knees will kiss, so the back of that right knee is touching the front of the left knee. The feet can widen out a little bit to either sides of the mat, and then begin to take some rocks forward and back, letting the hips fall in between the feet, letting your chest come a little bit more forward as you rock forward. And I'm really close to this wall that's behind me because my apartment is small and this is the best place to film, believe it or not. So if you also have a wall to your left or your right, feel free to move your mat so that you can have some more space on either side. The next time that you come forward, your hands will come down, feel them on the ground. You'll tuck the toes under. You'll lift the knees and you'll come up into a cross-legged down dog. Look back at the feet. Do they look like they're hips width distance? Just notice, how does this feel to have the legs crossed in your dog? You can then bring a little bounce into it. Bend the knees a little bit. And then slowly we're going to start walking up to the front of our mat. So to do this, we're going to do this little crisscross walk as if we're walking on a tightrope. So you're going to bring the left foot forward and walk it to the middle. And then step the right foot forward. And then step the left foot forward, crisscrossing. And then step the right foot forward. And then you land with the right foot on the left side, the left foot's on the right side, the right knee is in the front, and the left knee is kissing the back of the right knee. So we're in our cross-legged forward fold here. Take a moment. I always like to find a little bit of a sway, a little bit of movement before I settle into a pose. It's like every time I come into a pose, it's like you're dropping a little pebble on water, and you're letting all of the ripples go out before you find some visible stillness. You're going to walk your hands long out in front of you like down dog arms, and then walk them up and over to the left. And then breathe into that right lung. See if you can puff up the right lung here. We won't be here for too long, but see how much you can stretch from the right fingertips to the right hip. And then begin to walk the arms all the way back through the middle, up and over to the right. And see how far you can go on this side. Breathing into that left lung this time. Then you'll come back to center, and we're just going to unravel the legs by continuing to walk the hands to the left so that you're in a forward fold facing the back of your mat. So we're really going to change perspective a bunch of times today, which is good for our brains. You're in this forward fold facing the back of the mat. You can find a few little rocks here. The feet are unraveled. Notice how this feels on the legs, different from the cross-legged. And then begin to walk your arms out to a plank pose. Pausing here in your plank. Find the measurement of your dog. Once you feel sturdy in your plank, you'll bend the knees and stick the sits bones up to the sky. Find your down dog, and this time pedal it out a lot. What would you do if you were a dog waking up first thing in the morning and going to the dog park? Probably shake a leg, you'd shake an arm. Try anything. You can also still stay paused. Take one more moment. And then you'll find yourself finding that visible stillness in your dog. Let the hands root down. Let the energy shoot up the arms and up the back so the sits bones are shooting up to the ceiling. And then let the energy waterfall down the backs of the legs through the heels. On your next inhale, you'll lift that right leg up, down dog split, the toes to stay facing down. And then you'll bring your right foot to your right thumb. Place your back knee down, untuck the toes. My hair looks crazy. I don't know about you. And then from there, find a 90-degree angle in your front knee and reach the arms forward, up and up. Finding our first Anjaneyasana. Leaning a little bit into that left hip, but not dropping in. You're pressing the hips forward so that the chest can reach a little bit more up and back. One more inhale. And exhale, the hands come down. Bring the hips back, lift the right toes up, and then take a couple moments here in a runner stretch. Beginning to bring the hands up and over to the right. So arcing the arms over to the right. The foot stays just as it is, stretching into that left side again. One more inhale and exhale, and then begin to walk the hands back to center. And then continuing your walk, you're going to bring that left shin so that it comes parallel to the short edge of the mat. You're coming into a gate pose facing the right side of your space. The right foot will come down to the ground. The toes of the right foot are in the same line as your left knee. You can't really see my hands here, so I'm sorry, but my hands are just on the ground or on fingertips. I like tucking my left toes underneath me, and I'm going to lean back. That right toe can lift up or it can stay down, whatever you want to try in your legs, and try both and then see which one you like. And then lean the hips forward and then come back and come forward, getting into all the edges, all the corners of the hips and the legs. And then come back to center. That right foot comes down, the top of that left foot comes down, and then begin to take some circles to the right. Bending into that right knee as you go. You can imagine that you're a jungle cat about to pounce somewhere. And then circle to the left. My hair still looks crazy. This is jungle cat hair day. That's what's happening. And then come back to center. Pause in your gate pose. Then you're going to continue to walk the hands to the left. So we're making a nice little revolution around ourselves. Walk the hands to the left. The hands come back towards the front of the mat. The right toes tuck under. That right leg engages. The left knee comes towards the nose. Hug it in. Moment for the core. And then place that left knee down to the middle of the mat. Tuck that right knee behind it. Oh, look at that. We're on the other side. And then begin to take some circles with your hips. Circling around here. I like thinking I'm hula hooping. You could also think you're stirring some batter up or you're whisking something around. And then circle to the right. And you can see I'm on fingertips, but if you want to keep your hands down on the ground or if you wanted to grab your blocks and put them underneath your hands, that's also a great option. And then come back to center. I'm going back to fingertips and then begin to rock the hips back a little. And then forward, let the chest come through the arms as much as it can. The legs are constricted here, so it does constrict our movement a little bit to bring ourselves forward and back. And that's a good thing. It's nice to create some different boundaries so our bodies have different way to move. Hands come down to the ground. Pause in the center. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, lift the hips back and up to this cross-legged down dog. The left foot is on the right side, the right foot's on the left side, the left knee's in front, the right knee's in back. Find those little bounces again if you like that. Otherwise, pause here, notice how this feels, and then begin to walk up towards the front of the mat. Crisscrossing, the right foot comes forward, then the left foot, then the right foot, then the left foot, and then you pause at the top in your cross-legged forward fold. Letting yourself hang over the legs. I like trying to find a slight bend in my right knee so that my left knee can stay bent, but you're still trying to just forward fold and notice what it feels like. Walk the arms long out in front of you and arc the arms up and over to the left again. How it is going on this side feel compared to the other side. And each moment in yoga, we're just taking stock of how our body is in space. What information are you getting? What are you learning? Walk back through center and walk up and over to the right. Continuing to find your breath here. How does your breath feel in each of these poses? Can you use your breath to either walk the fingertips out a little bit, bend a knee slightly more, or just use the breath to stay in the pose a little bit longer? And then this time, you'll continue to walk the hands to the right. You'll unravel the legs so that you're in a forward fold with normal legs facing the back of the mat. And this time, you can take an arm variation of your choice. So I like grabbing my head by interlacing my hands at the base of my neck. You can grab for opposite elbows. You can interlace your hands at your spine. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath, so make a choice. Do something that you like, something you can stay in, and just breathe. Take one more inhale where you are. As you exhale, you'll let the arms go and then begin to walk yourself back out into a plank pose. We're in a plank pose facing the back of our space. Gonna rock a little bit forward and back this time. So once again, thinking of yourself being held in the middle. There's stuff in front of you, there's stuff behind you, there's stuff to the right, to the left, above and below. And you're right in the middle, holding in your core in this plank. And then bend the knees, take the sits bones up to the sky, down dog. You can take some movement, but see if you can formalize it right away. Use AirPods, do not stick in, and that's okay. Finding a breath in your dog. Pausing here to really feel like you're pulling the body apart from hand to hips to feet. On your next inhale, lift that left leg up, down dog split, the toes face down. Step your left foot to your thumb. Place the back knee down, untuck the toes. Once you feel sturdy in your legs, reach the arms up, reach the torso up, come into your Anjane. Letting the hips press forward. Hips are staying square. I like thinking of my right pinky toe pressing down onto the ground, and that's what allows my hips to stay square here. On your next inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, hands come down. Bring the hips back, lift the left toes up, and then arc those arms up and over to the left. Good. One more breath to pause, reaching those right fingertips a little bit more if you can. And then arc the arms back through center, up and over to the right. This is where it would help to not be completely up against the wall. So you're gonna keep the hands walking to the right and find your gate pose in the other direction. So the left toes come down onto the ground, the right knee bends, the shin becomes parallel with the short edge of the mat. You're here. Your hands will come down into the ground. I'm just turning around since I literally have no space on that side. And then begin to take some rocks forward and back. If you want those left toes to lift up, you can as you move. If you want to tuck the right toes under, keep the toenails on the ground, that's also great. I'm sweating. I don't know about you. Probably this sweatshirt. This is not an ad for Seattle. I just like the sweatshirt. And then hands come down to the ground and then begin to take some circles. Seeing if as you circle this time, you can keep the whole parts of the feet on the ground. So how does it feel to keep the entire left pinky toe down? You might get a little bit more of a stretch in the outer left part of the leg. Switch directions. Pausing anywhere that feels good to stay and breathe into that sensation. Good. And then come back to center. You'll continue walking the arms to the right. You'll tuck the left toes under, engage that left leg, and then that right knee comes towards the nose. Core moment on this side. Really see if you can get that knee to hug the nose, hugging the belly in, and then reach that right leg up, down dog split, and then step that right foot to your right pinky hand. Right pinky hand, right pinky finger. The toes can be bisecting the mat and the floor. I like how finding them on a 45-degree angle. Hands can definitely come on blocks here if they're handy. I like keeping my palms down or being on fingertips, taking a moment to settle into your lizard pose, thinking of that pebble dropping and letting the ripples come out so that you can pause. You can place your knees down or the back knee down, untuck the toes. In this lizard, let the chest come forward. Let the left hip come forward. That right knee is still tracking over its own side. Taking one last deep breath here. And then tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and hop that left foot up to the outside of the left pinky finger. Now you're in your malasana. And once again, I'm just going to switch perspectives just so you can see me. Your malasana facing the front of the space. You can rock a little bit right and left, letting the heels lift up. Once again, finding some movement. If you would prefer to sit on a block on malasana for what we're about to do, you can always place that on its medium or lowest height for where you are. Otherwise, find the middle. Find the hands in prayer. Find the elbows and knees having this equal and opposite push and pull. I always say that Isaac Newton would have been really good at yoga. He gets it. We're always pushing and pulling in different directions. And then find that right hand on the front of the left ankle. And then find that left hand on the left knee. And then lean back. Lean back. For the song, it's singing time. And then come back to center. Find the left hand on the front of the right ankle. Lean that left shoulder into the left knee and then press on the right knee with the right hand and lean back. You can lean back up and over that left knee, just using it as if it's like the back of a chair. And then you'll come back to center and find that right ankle in the front of that left knee. So we're malasana with these arched or crossed arms. And then you're going to stand yourself up. So lift the hips up and turn the toes so that they're parallel to the front of the room, parallel to the edges of the mat. You can make sure your feet are on the ground or the mat if you want to. And then wherever your arms are, heel toe your feet a little bit wider so the arms stay super duper taut. And then imagine there's a magnet from the crown of the head to the floor before we add any movement here. So you're just forward folding in this cross-legged armed shape. On your next inhale, you're going to lift that left arm up to the sky, twist open to the left, and then circle it down. Watch the fingers, and then watch the hand find the right ankle. And then lift that right arm up to the sky. Look at it, lean back, and then watch the fingers. And I caught my AirPod. And then that right hand finds the front of the left ankle. And then keep going at your own pace. Move as slow or as fast as you want. What I love about yoga is that you're given guidance on what to move, but how you move is completely in your control. How everybody does different, the poses is different. The only thing that matters is that we're doing them safely and in a way that's going to bring longevity to our bodies. But besides that, it can all be very different. Take one more to either side so that you feel even. That right hand finds the front of the left ankle, left hand's on the front of the right, and then just let your arms drop, dangle over, and then begin to turn those left toes out. That right foot will start to walk back, and you'll place your back knee down for your lizard. We kept it up a little bit, didn't we? So you can find some rocks a little bit forward and back, just taking whatever movements you want here, circling or little rocks before you place that back knee down, untuck the toes, letting that right hip come forward, letting the chest be proud. One more inhale here. One more exhale. You'll tuck the back toes, you'll lift the back knee, the hands will come down. You'll step that left foot back up to a down dog split, just to even out the down dog splits. You'll place that left foot down, and then you'll stay in your down dog, find your down dog. On your next inhale, you'll roll the body forward and through to a tuck-toed up dog. We'll keep the legs engaged. Rinse that whole sequence out. My hair looks crazy, so don't look at me. Find your down dog one more time. And then place the knees down. Sit to one side. And then find your blanket or find something to sit up on. We're going to do a little forward folding sequence. So you're going to find your blanket, or at least I'm going to find my blanket. This is how mine was folded. I'm just going to fold it again so I get a little bit more height. And then my legs are going to come out long in front of me. They're going to be the width of my mat, but you can find your legs a little bit more narrow, or if you want to find them a little bit wider, go for it. You're going to sit yourself up tall, so shoulders are slightly back, shoulders are right on top of sits bones, knees are bent to give you that long, elongated crescent-like spine, and then forward fold over your legs. See if you can find your armpits to your knee, and then let your head just completely drop. We love to find the connection between our armpits and our knee to find more contact. It's really soothing to find this connection between our armpits and our knee. It makes us feel safe. We bring the body more contact and say, hey, body, like, you're okay. We're safe here. You can relax. You can restore. You can let the nervous system begin to transfer over into the parasympathetic state. That's our rest and digest state. Let yourself breathe here. If your hands are on your feet, grabbing them, you can imagine you're a full circuit of breath, letting the breath travel up the backs of the legs and letting it waterfall wash over you back to the toes. So as you're here in the pose a little bit longer, you can find more contact. More contact means more safety. More contact means more rest. Like giving yourself a really big hug. Take one more inhale here in the pose. You could also pause the video and take as long as you want. One more exhale. And then slowly begin to walk yourself up to stand. Up to stand, oh my gosh. Walk yourself back up to sit. I need to fix my hair, but take a moment to see if your eyes can stay closed. Can you stay inward? You can bring the soles of your feet together in front of you so your knees are in this diamond-like shape. pausing here, hands can be on your shins, using that as leverage to lean yourself up and back, finding a little bit of a back bend here. And then forward fold over your legs one more time. And here it's really nice to find a block or something to rest your forehead on. So you can put a block on your feet, you can put a block in front of your feet, you can put it behind, giving yourself some contact between the forehead and something also allows the transfer to the parasympathetic nervous system state so we can find more rest, so that we can restore. We move to restore. I always love doing a bunch of movement before I try to sit and meditate. So I get all the little wrinkles and fidgets and energy out so that I can sit and find that visible stillness. Same thing with coming into these restorative poses. On your next inhale, you'll slowly roll yourself up to sit. You'll bring the props off to the side and sit up how you started. So I sat on a block, so I'm going to grab my block. If you were sitting on a blanket, sit up on a blanket. See if you can really stay inward here. Your eyes can stay closed, or you can just gaze softly down at the floor. And I like finding my palms, my right hand holding my left hand so that I give my body the sense that I have myself. I'm my right hand, my right side of my body is holding my left side. It signifies the liver holding the heart. Liver is on our right side, heart is on our left side. Yang is on our right side, yin is on our left side. We have all of these different parts, modalities, polarities in all parts of our body that we're trying to mediate it all at once. So we can't have yin without yang. We can't have good without bad. We can't have hot without cold. So I really like this little posture with the hand because it means all of that to me. How can we find ourselves in the middle of everything, of our own universe, of our circumference, of everything that's going on that we can control and that we can't control? Imagine where your shoulders and hips are in space, coming back to that thread coming down from above to the middle of the crown of the head that bisects them through the middle of the body, down through the perineum to the floor, to the earth beneath. You're being held in the middle on this universal spit that's holding yourself up tall. Take one more breath where you are to close out your practice for you, letting yourself take a big inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, you'll gently flutter open your eyes. You'll come back to the space and you're done. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for practicing. Let me know how that felt. Let me know how you feel. And I'll see you in class, in person, online sometime soon. Bye.